I'm about to start round 2 of my first MPO tournament, the NADGT Tour Finale. Yesterday, I shot a pretty solid round at even, and now I'm only 1 stroke back of the cash, sitting in 18th place. I don't really have a score in mind for today, but my goal is just to shoot better than I did yesterday, and I know I can do that. So let's get to it. We're back here on hole 1, 360 feet, the basket straight ahead in those trees. I'm feeling a little bit more nervous today than I was yesterday, but I'm bowling with the same low flex shot with my Emperor, just trying to get it to skip towards the basket, and I do exactly like yesterday. And I get it right up in the circle for a good birdie look on the first hole from about 20 feet. And I just let the nerves get the best of me right there. Like I said, there's more nerves now than there was last round. Maybe because I know I'm in the mix and I have a chance to play well. And yesterday, I didn't really have any expectations. So walking up to hole 2, I know I need to birdie this to make up for that mistake on hole 1. It's a par 4 at just under 600 feet, the easiest hole on this course. All you need to do on this tee shot is just get your drive out in the open anywhere and you'll be fine. As long as you don't throw it into the trees on the right side, and I almost do. But luckily, I just make it past them and I end up in a good spot. Just a wide open 220-foot approach into the green with my pyro here, and even trying to give it a little run for an eagle chance. And that's great. It does skip off a little bit too much. I would have loved to have parked it so I don't have to putt, but need to get that putt dialed in for the rest of the round. This one's a couple feet further than the one I just missed. Really need to knock it in, and there we go. Perfect solid putt. 1 under through 2 is not a bad start at all. Hole 3 is the first of 3 tunnel shots here at New World. It's the shortest and biggest gap. So if I can throw a clean shot here, it'll give me some confidence going into the next 2. I didn't get this hole yesterday, so I really want to pick it up today. Going with my same jawbreaker zone. Just need to make the correction. And oof, that was just complete nerves right there. I'm telling you guys, I'm not really feeling like myself today. I just need to throw a good shot or 2 to get my mojo back. And right here, we do have a look. We're about 60 feet away, and I have a window through the trees, so I'm going to run it. And I just barely snuck it over the edge of the basket. Don't even need the chains. Let's go. That putt just obliterated my nerves, and now I'm feeling good going into hole 4, which is another par 4 at about 600 feet. It's pretty far off to the right, so the farther straight you go off this tee shot, the better. I'm going with my strike here again. And I do give it a little too much hyzer and get it off to the left side, which is honestly not too bad. I still have a look at the basket. I'm only about 330 feet, so it's definitely inside my range. Going with my Kevin Jones feedback. Just need to get it around those trees right in front of me, but not too wide that I hit the tree on the right. And I just barely keep it too inside. Just caught the end of the branches. I felt really good about that shot. Not too mad about it. Just laying up here for par. And moving on to the next hole. Still 2 down through 4, which like I said yesterday is where I want to be. Hole 5 is a pretty straightforward 400-foot shot, but there is a gap you have to hit, so you can't really give it a full rip. I learned from yesterday, and I'm picking up my more overstable Emperor. I just throw it a little bit too low, but it skips up nicely, and I land inside circle 2 for a birdie look. I'm closer than anyone else on my card, so this is a chance to get a stroke back on everyone. Hit the band. Really thought I made that out of my hand, but it's alright. I'll take a stress-free par any day of the week. Now, hole 6 is where I can make my first improvement on last round. I took a dumb bogey here yesterday. It's another 600-foot par 4, but this one is basically a tunnel shot the whole way. We have OB on the left side and right side. Yesterday I went with my CD1, so today I'm going with my strike. Just disking down a little bit to make sure I stay in the fairway. I don't get it quite as far as I wanted, but I can still attack for birdie from here. You can see the basket straight ahead, but it's kind of a weird shot shape if you want to get it there. So I'm picking up my Meteor. I want to give it a little flip up and then a little ride right at the end of its flight. But instead, I kind of turn it over immediately out of my hand instead of trusting the disc to flip up and do what it's supposed to do. Probably didn't have to do a shot that technical, but at the end of the day, it's not a bogey and I'm playing better than yesterday. Hole 7's a pretty straightforward hole that I should be able to grab another birdie on. It's a 630-foot par 4. I had a pretty good shot here yesterday going around the trees. So for some reason today, I decided to change discs. I turned it over and it's flipping all the way to the right and it's heading towards that OB cart path. And from the tee pad, we all think it went out of bounds. But luckily, I walk up there and it's only about a foot away from the cart path, so we're in bounds. But I went so far right that I'm just way too far away from the basket for a birdie look. 380 feet, it's in my range, but you can see all that brush on the right side. That's an OB pond that I really don't want to contend with. So I decide just to throw a hyzer with my Emperor to get into circle 2, to have a circle 2 birdie jump putt. And right here, you can see I'm about 45 feet away. Good distance for a birdie putt. I just baby it. Didn't commit to the putt at all. And unfortunately, we're walking away with a par on this hole for the second day in a row. Not ideal because the remaining 11 holes start to get really tough. So now my goal is just to par out and finish the round at 2 down because I know that'll be about 980 rated and I should still be in the cash. We're coming up on hole 8 where I threw my drive out of bounds last round, so I decide today just to play it safe, throw it at that big pine tree on the right side with an overstable disc just to make sure I stay in bounds. I'm not even trying to get a lot of distance off this tee shot, just get it out in the middle just like that, and now we have a pretty simple shot to play for the par. I'm about 450 feet to the pin, so I'm just picking up my Kevin Jones feedback and trying to throw it about 350 feet so we have a simple approach to the basket. I hang it out a little bit too wide though, and that's getting scary. Getting way too close to that OB on the right side, and does that stay in? No. I'm out of bounds. It lands on the cart path, just a couple feet from inbounds, and now I have to take it back all the way where I went out of bounds. I'm still 360 from the pin, so I'm taking my most overstable Emperor and trying to give it a big skip shot towards the basket. And we get the big skip, land on circle's edge, and now I have a chance to save my bogey. If I miss this putt right here, I'm back to even, and I really don't feel too confident about it. And that one hurts, guys. For the second day in a row, I finished the front 8 at even. Throw away my good start once again. Gotta find my composure though on hole 9. It's another long par 4 at over 800 feet with OB on the whole right side of the fairway. I'm just throwing a hyzer here with my Emperor to stay in bounds. I have absolutely no chance of birdieing this hole. Another Emperor shot, which seems to be the only disc I'm throwing on this course. I throw it way wide to avoid the branch that's right in front of me. I did that on purpose, don't worry. I know it's gonna skip back, and it does. Skips all the way back in bounds. And now we have this simple approach with my zone to get a par, but keep in mind we do have a pretty strong left to right here, and I just don't swing it enough to the left, and the wind gets under it, skips off the cart path, and jumps over the OB wall. So the second hole in a row that I'm playing safe for par, I throw it OB again, and now I have another circle's edge putt for a bogey. All I can say is at least it was a confident miss. I hit the band. The frustration is really starting to build here, but I gotta keep my composure. I'm only 2 up for the round, so I can still bring it back. We're on to hole 10 where there's a creek 360 feet off the tee that you have to clear if you want to get a birdie, but I want no part of that today. After taking 2 back-to-back double bogeys, I'm just playing it safe and laying up this side of the creek. The last thing I want to do is go OB again, so I'm just trying to get a par here to get my confidence back. There is an OB cart path along the right side that I have to get to the left of. It comes in very far to the left, and I just throw it straight OB again. It tries to skip over back in bounds, but it lands on the cart path. This is hard for me to live through again watching this back. So now I'm throwing my 4th shot and I'm still 400 feet from the basket. Very undercommitted throw here, and I don't land it anywhere close to even have a chance at a bogey. We missed my upshot. I just walked up there and threw it real quick. So that's me tapping in for another double bogey. And in a span of 3 holes, I went from 2 under to now I'm 4 over. And at this point in my head, I feel like the tournament is over for me. Hole 11 is a 300-foot tunnel shot. I got the birdie last round, so I'm just trying to do the same thing. I hit my line, but I put my hex on a little bit too much hyzer, but at least we made the gap. We're a little bit outside my comfort range here, and with the way I'm putting today, I don't want to miss and have a long comebacker, so I'm just laying up here and taking an easy 3. And if I needed any extra pressure added on me at this point, 6-time major winner Dave Feldberg is standing here watching us tee off, and both the guys in front of me on my card threw amazing shots. So now I have to follow it up with Dave Feldberg watching, and that's about as good as I can do. That's really all I'm trying to do on this hole to take an easy par, because unfortunately I don't have a 400-foot forehand yet. And now hole 13 is the exact same shot, but just a little bit shorter, so it's in my birdie range. If you watched my round yesterday, you know what happened, so I'm trying not to make that mistake again. Just a full power forehand with my force, and I throw it straight into the ground. You can't see where it goes behind that sign, but it stays in bounds. But at least I have a shorter approach than I did yesterday, so I'm just grabbing my putter, pitching it up there for another par. And if you're still watching at this point in the round, thank you, and please consider dropping a like. It takes a lot of work for me to make these videos. Hole 14 is the longest hole at New World. It's 1,040 feet. Probably my favorite hole on this course. You have to hit a tight gap off the tee with a lot of power. Yesterday, I didn't quite make it out of the gap, but I'm going to be going with the same shot here with my strike, and it looks like I'll be out in the open, and maybe I'll finally have another shot at a birdie. But I walk up to my lie, and I'm underneath the one branch that's in the fairway. If I just landed 5 feet to the right or 5 feet further up, I would have been out in the clear, but this is just my luck today. So I determined that the only line I have is to get down on a knee and try to do a flex forehand. And I just completely overturned it into the trees on the left. I got scared of the OB cart path on the right side. I just had to pitch out of the rough there. I made no forward progress. So now I'm throwing my fourth shot from about 600 feet out. And to add insult to injury, while I was in the rough, my leg got caught up in some thorns. So now I'm bleeding pretty heavily and my leg is on fire. Can this day get any worse? So now I'm about 200 feet from the pin, trying to make something happen. This is my fifth shot, so I have to throw it in to save my par. And I come up just short, so now I'm going to be taking yet another bogey. And after all the crap that's happened to me this round, I'm moving on to the dreaded island hole. With how today's going, I bet you guys can guess what's going to happen. Yup, I tried to make the correction from yesterday, and I just put it on too much anhyzer this time, but I still have a chance to save my par from the drop zone. It's about 80 feet, and at least I gave it a good run, but alas, another bogey, bringing me to 6 over for the round with 3 holes left to go. Hole 16 is a tight tunnel shot. It's only 260 feet, so I can get the birdie, but honestly, it's really hard to care about this round at this point. Just a little flex shot with my pyro. I get it 2 nose up, and it doesn't go anywhere, but that's fine as long as I can get the par. Have to go with the good old patent pending backhand. And I was actually trying to run it here. I thought I had a good chance at it, but not this time. And now I have a long comebacker outside the circle to save my par. And that was by far my best putt of the day. I put all my frustration behind that and willed that putt in. This hole is completely out of my range, so I'm just laying up for par. Hole 17 takes about 500 feet of power on hyzer to get there. And you need to go way left. And I threw it straight right into the trees. So now you can barely see me in there. For some reason, this is still in bounds. All I can do from there is pitch out. So now I have this approach with my jawbreaker zone. I'm just trying to get it right next to the basket where it's going to sit down. And I hit a tree root and it skips about 50 feet past the basket. So now I have this putt with a palmetto in my way that I have to putt over. And it makes me putt too high. And just like that, I took another double bogey. So I'm at +8 going into the hardest hole on this course. All I can think about is how I screwed it up yesterday, and my confidence is at an all-time low. Not a good combination. Just trying to get it out there as far as I can with my force. Does get a little bit too much turn behind it, but it really doesn't land in a bad spot, and I should be able to walk away from here with a par. Awkward footing here, so I have to go to a standstill. I really don't need that much distance though. I'm just trying to get it into a good position so I can pass the final Mando, and that looks great. I have to go into those trees and make a right to get to the basket, so I'm doing another forehand here. It looks really bad out of my hand, and I was pretty frustrated with this spot. I didn't go quite as far as I wanted, but as you can see where it landed, I have an open look to the basket, a little over 200 feet to get up and down for my par. And just like yesterday, it looks like I threw a great approach until I walked up there and I'm in about circle's edge for my par putt. We didn't end up recording it, but I missed the putt, chained out right side, and that was a tap in for another bogey. So I finished the day at +9 and I dropped all the way down to 31st place. I honestly didn't even want to post this round. It's super embarrassing. I haven't shot a round under 900 rated in over a year, but that's just the reality of disc golf. It's not always going to be your day. And the good news is I have 2 more rounds to make it up and redeem myself and get into the cash. It's going to take a lot, but I know I can do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.